We're following breaking news out of Hollywood this morning. Legendary actor Robert Redford has died at the age of 89. Of course, he's known for his starring roles in hits like Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid or All the President's Men. He also directed award-winning films like Ordinary People and A River Runs Through It. Let's go back down to G at 299 Queen now with more on Redford's career.
Yes, and I'm joined by film critic Richard Crouse about the news of Robert Redford. Thank you so much for joining us. Really sad day. Robert Redford, as you know, legendary, part of that old era of Hollywood. Tell me a little bit more of what kind of impact he's had in Hollywood.
Well, it's huge. So he really is a bridge between old Hollywood and what they call new Hollywood in the 1970s. And so that sort of the defining line is about 1969. Studio system is starting to fall apart a little bit. They're still making big movies, but as you move into the 70s, things are changing. Different kinds of movies are being made, and Robert Redford was often the stars of a lot of those movies. Think about 1969 alone. He made Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. He made Downhill Racer, which is a really great film about downhill racing, and he also made a movie called, and I just have to look up the title here.
I know Sting was his big one back in 1971.
But in '69, Tell Him Willie Boy Is Here, where he played a lesser known but still really great. So 3 movies in that 1 year that all had a huge impact. Then you go into the Sting and The Way We Were, and it goes on and on and on. This is a guy who could do almost anything on film. And I think that because he was so unbelievably handsome and charismatic, that he was often, at the time, by contemporary critics, written off as just a pretty boy who wasn't all that talented. Look at those films. Look at All the President's Men, which is like a paranoid thriller. You look at The Way We Were, deeply romantic film. You look at The Sting, which is kind of a caper film. All came out within just a few years of one another, all completely different, and the thing that links them all is Robert Redford. He's the glue that holds every one of those films together.
But yet, he also pushed boundaries later on. You know, when I started to watch film, the one that really stood out for me, it's not an Oscar-winning film, but Indecent Proposal, that just got so much buzz just because of the concept, and he was part of that.
He was part of that, and you know, again, working with very dynamic stars at the time, Woody Harrelson and Demi Moore. But throughout his career, he jumped back and forth between mega hits like that to creating the Sundance Film Festival. The Sundance Institute came first, the festival later, and the idea was he saw all these little independent films, frankly, not the kind of movies that he was making, but films that he liked and enjoyed, and said, you know what, I bet you I can help with that. So he starts an indie film festival, which has gone on to become a huge sensation. He was an environmentalist. He's lived in Utah since 1961 and helped preserve a lot of the natural beauty of that state. So it's a guy who had his fingers in a lot of pots, director, Oscar-winning director for Ordinary People, and just was someone who I think became emblematic. When I think of 70s film, the images that start rifling through my head are The Sting and The Way We Were, and you know, those films, and he was the star of all of them.
Is there another sort of Robert Redford right now in Hollywood?
Brad Pitt.
Okay.
You know, maybe Brad Pitt. I mean, I don't know why. Maybe I'm forgetting something. I don't know why they never played father and son, because they did work together, but they should have played father and son. But I think Brad Pitt went through some similar struggles. Too good looking to be talented, all that kind of thing, has proven that to be a fallacy, as did Robert Redford.
What do you think he'll be most remembered for?
I think he'll be remembered as just sort of a multifaceted icon. The film work is absolutely undeniable, but you know, the Sundance Film Festival has created careers for hundreds of filmmakers and given birth to careers and launched films that probably might not have happened without his support. So I think he'll be remembered for that, and I think he'll be remembered as just someone who was an extremely talented film actor who could do anything, that was asked of him.
Definitely a huge loss for Hollywood today. Richard Crouse, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.